Terrell Murrell, United States Navy veteran, proudly served from 1998 to 2012. Originally from Baltimore, Maryland, kind of traveled all around the world. I was a chef in the Navy. Really spent most of my time on aircraft carriers. I would share with y'all that I was a carrier sailor at the beginning. What that means is I was stationed on board the aircraft carrier USS George Washington and USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. With the housing quarters or the living quarters, they call it berthing in the Navy, where everyone stayed. I literally slept directly under catapult 3. So the padding for the catapult that fires planes off of the aircraft carrier literally popped over my head at a clip of probably every 2.5 minutes, right? And I work nights, so this was happening all day doing flight ops, and even if you work days, they have flight ops at night. So I didn't suffer from migraines at all before service, and in service I started getting them really bad to the point where I was taking myself to the ER in the middle of the night, just trying to go through, just to get some relief. So they started treating me for migraines on active duty, and it just has never stopped. I remember last summer I had 45 straight days where I had a migraine. But I filed for a claim initially, and the VA denied it, and I had paperwork there. I had proof that I had them on active duty, had proof that I was being treated for them now, and currently was being medicated, and they denied my claim. Then that was when I told you I quit because that was the one that hurt me the most. So I went through a reconsideration process. At the time, the new process would be a high-level review or a supplemental review, but at the time, this was before the Appeals Modernization Act. So I filed for a reconsideration, and the VA finally service connected it at 0. Then I went back in for another reconsideration, and they finally got my rating correct, and I was compensated at 50% for my migraines. And not only did they give me 50%, they also went back 2.5 years and compensated me at the 50% level for my migraines. That's a cool story, but I owed, because I took a severance package when I got out of service at year 14, and by law you can't be compensated and have a severance package from the VA. So my nice $45,000 back paycheck was absorbed by that. Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah. But it could have been worse. I could have had to wait 2.5 years later to get anything. So can't miss what you never had. But now I take a preventive medication for my migraines almost daily, just to kind of function. So for all I know, I have CTE, right? We listen to the people in sports and the concussions and things like that, but you're firing a couple tons of aircraft over somebody's head. And I mean, we had to tape things down. So, it's just, living. You don't think about that when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, right? Just like, I'm just working. But then age creeps up on you, start thinking like, man, where are these migraines coming from? I used to work at a Best Buy in Kentucky, and I did not know anything about the VA claim process at all. I had a gentleman who was helping veterans with their voc rehab program, and he said, Terrell, fill out a claim. So I filed a claim, didn't know what I was doing, had no understanding or knowledge of the entire process. I just fired it off, right? No medical evidence, no understanding, didn't know what anything was. VA moved historically slow back then, so 2.5 years later, everything was denied. And at that point, I knew that I needed some real help. So I started doing my Google search, educating myself throughout this process, and I went to my Instagram page, and there was a Mr. Brian Reese. Signed up for a webinar, watched the video of him. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, Terrell, what do you have to lose? And that day in the spring of 2017, I became a member of VA Claims Insider. Before, we were just a mastermind group of veterans helping veterans. Then Brian Reese, in all his infinite wisdom, created the elite process, or the elite program. Got assigned a coach who helped me and guided me throughout the entire claims process. I submitted my claim through VA Claims Insider September of 2017. 2 months later, decision came back and I got 10%. I was really frustrated, angry, and upset at that point as well, because I felt like I deserved more. So I quit, which was the easiest thing to do throughout this entire process. got through the holidays, came to the realization that the VA wants me to quit. They're never going to knock on my door and give me what I rightfully deserve. So I got back on the horse, picked my bootstraps up, and said, let me get back in this. I submitted some notice of disagreements. Then I filed some more claims. And in July of 2018, I went to 60%. November 2018, I went to 80%. April of 2019, I went to 90%, and then July 25th last year, I went to 100%. The day before Thanksgiving last year, I went to 100% permanent in total. I am the only nothing to 100% P&T veteran coach here at VA Claims Insider, and I'm proud of that, to say that my entire journey throughout the claims process of success has been done here at VA Claims Insider. Had a veteran, Mr. Fred. I call him Uncle Fred. He was 0% service connected for an L4, L5 in his back. I got on the phone with him. We had great conversations. And he was basically just seeking an increase for his back because he wasn't being compensated at all. So when we were talking through the conversation, he started telling me how his back directly affected his life. And how he couldn't work, how it ruined relationships, how he couldn't do anything he once loved. So I said, Mr. Fred, it sounds like you have a chronic pain claim, or somatic symptom disorder, or lifestyle impact, which is a condition that you can be rated for based on how your service-connected disability affects your life. So sent him to our network of mental health professionals. He spoke with them, told them about his condition. They gave him a condition of somatic symptom disorder, and he filed that claim through the VA, had an outstanding compensation and pension exam where he was able to convey those symptoms to a C&P examiner, and his condition was rated at 100%. So he went from 0 to 100% for a chronic pain claim for his 0% L4, L5 in his back. They finally raised his back condition up to 40% as well. What took him to the 100% P&T status was the SSD claim for his chronic pain. I had been doing a little bit of research about the program, and there was just a lot of misinformation going on about the process. And veterans were being told that they had to be considered 100% permanent in total because the name of the program is Total and Permanent Disability Discharge, TPD. But that is not the case. The instruction basically says a disability or disabilities that are rated at 100%. So easy online applications, 2 pages, is basically your address, your social security number, your phone number, your email. And you got to sign it, and I attached my benefit summary letter that stated I was at 100%, and I was able to submit that through the online portal. You could fax it in, you could email it in. I submitted through the portal, and 45 short days later, I had my student loans discharged to the tune of $175,000. I do qualify for CHAMP VA. Also, there is some compensation aside, Chapter 35 for your children as far as education benefits in college, and my oldest son takes benefits of those right now. Certain state parks you can get into for free, hunting licenses, fishing licenses are free, disabled veteran tags for your vehicle are also, a lot of states have waived fees for licenses and different things like that. I know Texas is that way. Maryland's a little different, not so veteran friendly, but also no property tax at 100% there as well. I give an outstanding customer experience. I understand how hard and daunting this process is, and the best part about us are that we're veterans helping veterans, right? You have a certain level of empathy and understanding from going through this process yourself. So I understand how hard and frustrating it can be for somebody, and being able to speak to that from the no, or the ideal that it has happened to me and countless other people allows me to be able to, rightfully guide somebody through this process, and give them my story and say, hey, I've been there. And I tell every veteran when we have our orientation calls, the easiest thing is to do is quit, right? This system is designed for you to self-select out. Again, they'll never come and give you anything that you rightfully deserve. So we're here to fight for the veterans that fought so valiantly for this country. I was that veteran who didn't think that I deserved anything, even though I was going through my migraines, even though I was going through sleep apnea and gastrointestinal issues, PTSD, chronic pain, things that we were just accustomed to living with and dealing with. So from the time you get to boot camp, you're in the, suck it up buttercup type of situation, right? And they actually ingrain that into you from the beginning, where you don't complain about anything, you just do, right? That is a culture that is designed at all branches of the service, regardless of the year you serve. You could be a Vietnam veteran or just got out of boot camp last week. It is the same across the generations and across different branches of service. So I let every veteran know, let's have a conversation. The key is I open up to them, which makes them open up to me. So I started providing value immediately and saying, well, why don't you think you deserve anything? Nothing happened to you while you were in service. And if nothing did, great and fine on you, but you'll be hard pressed to find a veteran who has had nothing happen to them in service, especially when you say, well, I served for 20 years and nothing happened to me. Impossible. I don't care if you're at a desk job or out there in the field. It just doesn't work that way. Something has happened to you in that time frame, because you wouldn't have made it that far without something happening to you. Trust me. Lack of medical evidence. They don't have anything to attach to, and they don't understand what it takes to submit a successful claim, especially from a primary space. So seen and treated for it on active duty, current treatment and medical diagnosis, and clear medical nexus. I call it the triangle of VA success, but it is affectionately known as the Kaluza triangle, which is the basis of how a veteran gets a primary service connection. That and then secondary service connections, honestly, where you have a rating that, or a condition that was caused or made worse by a primary service connection, or even a presumptive condition based on the area of exposure, Camp Lejeune, Blue Water Navy, Agent Orange, things like that.